Can I demonstrate Archimedes' principle that objects get an upward push from water equal to the weight of the water they displace?
This is the Trust Repair Shop, a project about understanding the world firsthand. I'm not an expert, I'm just a curious person starting a 30-week speed run to recreate important technologies and discoveries for myself, so I don't have to take anyone's word for it. Archimedes' principle sounds abstract, but it explains something very ordinary. Why boats float, why things feel lighter underwater, why a hollow object can float even if the material it's made out of would ordinarily sink. For this experiment, my setup was an overflow dish filled close to the brim, a catch dish underneath, a measuring cup, a kitchen scale, and then I had 5 floating bathtub toys. I weighed each toy first, then I placed them in the water, I collected the overflow, I measured the volume, and then I weighed that water that I was able to collect. The experiment got messy right away. The duck had a hole in it and was hollow, so water got inside, and that changed the duck's effective mass and displacement, which makes that measurement less trustworthy. The bigger issue was the overflow setup. If the dish wasn't perfectly topped off, some of the water had to rise before it started spilling into the catch dish, and every transfer lost a little bit of water along the way. The duck was the weird one. It weighed 62.7 grams, and I collected 61.31 grams of displaced water, and that looks almost perfect, but because water got inside the toy, I don't trust it as the cleanest result. For the other 4 toys, the collected displaced water was consistently lower than the toy's mass by about 9 to 12 grams, and at first that looks like a failure, but the error was weirdly consistent, so that makes me suspect that the missing water was mostly an artifact of my setup, something like the overflow dish wasn't being filled exactly to spill over, or the water sticking to the containers during transfer for weighing. So my answer is a cautious yes. The experiment seems consistent with the idea that a floating object displaces about its own weight in water, but my setup was too crude to demonstrate it cleanly. To make this point stronger, I would need a better overflow vessel, a more precise measuring container, and then objects that don't leak or trap water.